Good Sunday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson. Let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Sunday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, but first, before we get into that, we always got to do our tradition that we do. Obviously, right now, we have around a good 5 people watching right now, but so far 8 people have tuned in so far. And we only have 5 likes. So if you're a part of that 3 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Also, make sure you go on and hit the subscribe button. We are at 615, trying to get to that main goal of 785 away from that goal. Also, share with all the people that you know. Share with your family, friends, acquaintances, even people you don't like. Just send it to somebody so they can go on and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that stuff. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we will be talking about some stuff. Obviously, we will be talking about the weather for what's currently going on, also the weather for tonight. We also will be talking about our tropics and what's going on inside the tropics in general. That, and then also some potential patchy fog activity that can continue, and then also a stable atmosphere that will be ongoing. And so, without further ado, let's go and get started. Oh, also, it is Sunday, so we will be talking about this week's forecast for the week of the 16th all the way through the 22nd. But starting off, what is currently going on throughout the entire state of South Carolina right now? Absolutely nothing. Nice and dry over here inside of South Carolina as we go throughout tonight. If we go on and scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., a lot of stuff's going on, but for the most part, snowfall going from Maine to New York, all the way up here throughout like the Northeast, rainfall, and also some mix of some snow going on all the way inside of the UP, Michigan, and going to Pennsylvania, and then some rainfall ongoing all throughout the West over here from Montana to Idaho to Washington, Oregon to California, Nevada, and then even going throughout the Four Corners region as well. Now, as we go into our cloud cover for right now, honestly, we do have some near the coastal areas, especially near like the Georgetown area, but other than that, everything else looks relatively on the clear side. Current cloud cover going into the future now. This is what it is looking like. If we go in and push this forward, that cloud cover will remain as we go into like tomorrow morning. You can see that cloud cover for the most part goes its way off towards the south and east. And then as we go on and continue this all the way through the western part of the state, this thing will go all the way through around 24 hours or so as we go into, looks like for the most part through like tomorrow night. Some more cloud cover will try to move its way in from the west and move its way into the east. That will continue to move its way through all the way through hour 36. That is around Tuesday morning here. And for the most part still seems clear, but some more cloud cover definitely will be making its shape. So cloud cover definitely is going to be a factor as we go throughout like the next 24 to 48 hours. We will have kind of like clear skies and cloudy skies and clear skies and cloudy skies and all that kind of stuff, and it will go kind of like that. Current temperatures right now, 59 in Columbia as well as 58 in Sumter, 58 also inside of Orangeburg, and 62 in Somerville, 63 in Georgetown, and 63 also inside of Merrill's Inlet, 62 in Myrtle Beach, and 60 inside of Conway, 61 in North Myrtle Beach, and even around 65 in Charleston. We even have around 57 in Newberry, 54 in Lancaster, and 53 in Spartanburg, 51 in Gaffney, and 51 also inside of Greenville, 52 in Clemson, and 52 also inside of Rock Hill. For your low temperatures for tonight, you have around 42 in Sumter and Florence, and even around 43 in Orangeburg, 44 in Moncks Corner, and 39 in Kingstree, 42 in Columbia, and 49 inside of Charleston, 44 in Georgetown, and 46 in Myrtle Beach, 53 inside of Hilton Head Island, and 39 in Greenwood, 38 in Anderson, and 40 in Greenville, 41 in Spartanburg, and 38 inside of Rock Hill. For tomorrow's high temperatures is looking around 65 in Greenville, 65 in Spartanburg, and even around 64 in Rock Hill, 67 in Columbia, Orangeburg, Barnwell, and Walterboro, as well as 65 in Moncks Corner and Charleston, 65 also inside of Georgetown, and 63 in Kingstree and Florence, 63 in Dillon and Myrtle Beach. For your rainfall for tonight, it looks like, for the most part, that we still are not going to have any accumulable precipitation, so that means any sort of rainfall that's 1/100 of an inch or more. So we are not expecting that as we go throughout the next 24 hours. That's for tonight, that's for tomorrow, and then that's also for part of tomorrow evening going into the nighttime hours. Now, the crazy score. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it's the score that we see how crazy the weather is inside of South Carolina. We're at an 11. Why are we at an 11? Well, it's going to be calm tonight. It's going to be calm tonight. Dry conditions, mild temperatures, light winds, stable atmosphere overall. And so there's no fog, no frost risk or anything like that. So it looks like that for the most part, we're looking good in terms of the crazy score. For the SPC outlook, we go into Sunday night tonight. No thunderstorms are expected tonight. Same thing for tomorrow on Monday. But Tuesday, the thunderstorm streak finally begins to break a little as we do in fact have a thunderstorm risk up there for the upstate. That is for mainly like Oconee County, northern Oconee County going into northern Pickens County, northern Greenville County as well. And so that is for just a chance of thunderstorms. Does that mean that thunderstorms will happen? No, doesn't mean that they will happen, but it does mean that thunderstorm ingredients are in place for that area, and so we're going to have to watch for that. Now, same thing with excessive rainfall. Instead, we're not going to see any. So rainfall, that could be possible. Excessive rainfall, no. We're not looking for any sort of excessive rainfall right now. So let's go on now and talk about the models. So we're going to start off here at the short term first, right here at 9 o'clock p.m. You want to push this forward, and for the most part, you can see that there is nothing going on. Nothing going on all the way through until we get to around the 48-hour mark to 7 p.m. on November the 18th. So we look good. Even if we go into our accumulation, none. So we look good in terms of precipitation as we move through the next 48 hours or so. Now, as we go even further into the future, for the most part, again, it looks like that we're going to remain on the drier side until we get to around the 22nd. It looks like some rainfall could be pushing in, and it looks like a low-pressure system. Now, is this a cold front right here? This is a couple of days before Thanksgiving. At this point, this is, well, actually, 5 days or so kind of like the week before, but still 5 days before. We go on and look at our dew points, and it looks like that, yes, this thing will be bringing at, for sure, some dry air. This is not temperature. This is dry air right here. And if we go and look at the temperatures in general, temperatures will be dropping a little bit. Definitely will be dropping. So a little cold front moving through as we go through around like the 22nd. Then the 24th, going through the 25th, the 26th. And then here's the 27th, Thanksgiving Day. For the most part, some rainfall definitely is possible. I mean, that's 270 hours out, so things can definitely change. But it looks like for some rainfall is definitely in the question as we go into Thanksgiving, and especially as we get into Black Friday as well. Rainfall definitely is possible there as well. And there will be a major cold blast, a major cold front that will be trying to move its way in as we go into that time period as well. We go into the 29th into the 30th. Look at all of this cold air that will move its way down as we go into the 29th. 300 hours out, so things can change as always, but something to still watch for. That's cold air. If we go and look at the dew points now, this is our dry air. Dry air right here for the most part. Again, pushes its way through. This is not temperature. This is dry air. And so that will cause, obviously, not, humid condition, not warm conditions either, because if you go on and look at the actual temperatures themselves, these right here are temperatures. We go all the way through, and we're seeing below freezing temperatures in the upstate. And you may see some in the Midlands as well. But for the most part, it looks like just some below freezing temperatures. But that warm air will slowly build its way back as we go into the start of December. But in terms of what temperatures are looking like on Thanksgiving, though, it looks like that it's going to be warm on Thanksgiving, around like the 60s to 70s-ish on that day. But that's 264 hours out. And so that's it for our long-term future. What about the tropics? Nothing going on in the tropics. Absolutely nothing going on inside the tropics right now. And so that will continue as we go all the way through into the next 10 days or so. We go and look at it. Absolutely nothing. This is what it looks like. This is what the model, the ensemble looks like. What can you see? Because honestly, I just see a couple of little lines there, and that's about it. So I'm not really seeing anything that really is catching my eye right now. In fact, it's mostly just clear space. And so that's it for the tropics, as there's just nothing really there to talk about. So let's go on now and talk about this week's forecast. So we're going to start off, obviously, with talking about our averages, and then we'll go on and talk about precipitation. We'll talk about precipitation for the week as well, and so we'll see what that has to say. So starting off here with our temperatures first in the thermodynamic area. No surprise here, honestly, in my opinion, not really too much of a surprise. Above average temperatures are expected as we go into this week. That is, again, not really too much of a shocker. That was actually week 2, so this is actually next week. This is the week before, or this is actually this week right here. And so, I mean, again, still nothing really changes, still above average. So this is next week. This is actually this week. And so, I mean, you're seeing very high above average temperatures. That goes all the way from us all the way. I mean, look into like Louisiana. Look inside. Well, you can't see Texas, but I can actually show you that right now. I mean, just look at how just like above average it is for pretty much the majority of the U.S. as we go into this week. And we can even go in and look at the entire U.S. as a whole. The only place that's really seeing some below average temperatures for this week will be like down here in like California, and that's about it. Nobody else will really be receiving that. But we go back over here to the eastern U.S. and go back over to here. Above average temperatures are in play for us. Now, in terms of precipitation, we will be below average. Again, not too much of a surprise there either. It's going to be in a below average week. We're not going to see too much in terms of rainfall. Now, if we go on and look at our 7-day forecast for precipitation, I don't think anyone else is going to really find this shocking either. It's just the fact how we have only around like 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch to 3/10 of an inch, 4/10 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch max up there inside of the upstate along this border up here. I mean, I do see like some spots that can get to around like 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch in some isolated areas. But for the most part, it just looks like that we're just going to be drier than average as usual for this week. Now, I do also want to show the actual temperature anomalies as well. We go on and move on over towards the GFS first. We're going to move to temperatures and then go to GFS. Boom, boom. Then we're going to go on to right here. So we're going to start off here. You just go in and push this forward. I mean, the week kind of starts off a little bit below average. I mean, you can see right here, 7 o'clock in the morning, tomorrow morning. It starts a little bit below average, but those warmer temperatures will easily take over as we go through the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, the last day of the week. And that's where you can definitely see that warmer air start to take shape. And that warm air stays, again, until around that cold front passes through as we go into like the last couple of days of November. And so warm air seems to be the main highlight for the rest of this month for the most part. And so that's all that I really have to say in terms of the models and in terms of the forecast for the week. Not too much really is different from last week's forecast. So let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Unfortunately, for some reason, my studio is not working. Doing YouTube things, and so I can go on and just zoom out so I can get the things in here, but just YouTube glitching out as normal. Starting off here, though, Mr. Chris was here first. Who says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. J-Trans says, yo, what's up with you? I'm a new subscriber. Nice to meet you. Absolutely. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. And so also, speaking of, Mr. Chris says, please remember to go on and hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't. Also, share with everyone that you know. Helps the channel grow. He's absolutely correct. Because right now, if I go in and check this, we've had around 17 people tune in tonight and only 9 likes. If you are a part of that 8 that have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It's free. You can change your mind at any time. Mr. Chris says, comes back and says, was very nice here in Moncks Corner. Perfect. Glad to hear that. J. Trent says he's from Manning. Glad to know. My Nana says, hi Jay, nice day, and now I'm in the dark. Yeah, I got your message on that. I just think that they're probably just working, or maybe something just malfunctioned, something happened, because there's no bad weather, so I don't know why in the world you would be. My Aunt Lula also says, good evening, everyone, good evening to you. I pray that everyone had a blessed day. I did, thank you so much for asking. And then, let me see, what else do we have? My Aunt Lula comes back and says, today in Georgetown we had a sunny and beautiful, beautiful day. Glad to hear that. And then Trail comes in and says, greetings, everyone, greetings to you. And then Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone, good evening to you as well. And that's all. That is all. So there's nothing else really for me to say, as there's nothing else. If you want to go in and leave something inside the chat, you can. It's not closed or anything like that. It doesn't close until the stream ends. Even if you can still comment on any video, so it never really closed. But we'll come back. We will come back and see what happens. But first, before we get into this, let's go on and talk about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. You might be asking, why are we talking about these 4 locations if they're not inside of South Carolina? It's because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And so because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and talk about their forecast. And even though it's not even their location, even though it's not their main area being talked about, they still show up, they still support, and they still do all the great things. So we're going to go on and still talk about them. So we're going to start off with San Antonio first, as we always do, with low temperatures tonight 68, high temperatures tomorrow 88, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 72. No precipitation is expected at this time, but in terms of patchy fog is expected tonight. Patchy fog is also expected tomorrow morning as well, also tomorrow morning. So we will be watching for that. In terms of severe weather and excessive rainfall, we're going to start off with severe weather first. Severe weather, you actually seem, good. Nothing really here in terms of severe weather. But in terms of excessive rainfall on Thursday, that is November the 20th, I believe so, because day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is Thursday the 20th, going into Friday the 21st. Isolated flash flooding is possible for you, and so you're going to have to watch out for that. It's isolated, so low, only like a 5% risk, but something that you're going to have to watch for. And that's all for San Antonio. We're going to move on to Raleigh, North Carolina. You have low temperatures tonight at 38, high temperatures tomorrow at 59, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 36. No precipitation is expected at this time. In terms of severe weather, you had a bit of a fire day today, as you had elevated fire risk that was ongoing throughout pretty much most of the state of North Carolina and parts of the South Carolina. The upstate, all of the upstate was included. The Midlands were included, and it was a huge expansion from what we saw last night. And so last night we only had like a couple of counties in like Rock Hill, and then over near like Rock Hill, and then over there in Cherokee County. But for the most part, it expanded a lot more than what they thought it was going to be. And so that's it really for our forecast here for Raleigh, as there's nothing else really to talk about, nothing in terms of excessive rainfall for you either. And then for Philadelphia, low temperatures tonight at 37, high temperatures tomorrow at 47, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 33. No precipitation is expected at this time. You have a little bit of a fire risk as you went into today as well, but again, it's over now, so nothing there, and excessive rainfall, nothing for you. And then finally, probably the most active location that we're about to talk about being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 55, high temperatures tomorrow at 83, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 54, as there is no precipitation that is expected at this time. Severe weather, same thing, but excessive rainfall is going to be the huge story as you go into like Wednesday and Thursday. Isolated flash flooding is possible, and then on Thursday to Friday, scattered flash flooding is possible. That's a 15% risk for flash flooding on Friday and a 5% on Thursday. So things are going to get a bit, not going to say chaotic, but it will be some active weather you're going to have to watch out for. And that is all that I can see here inside of like these 4 locations. What's going on throughout the entire U.S.? Well, right now, for the most part, another round of heavy rainfall will renew concerns for additional flash flooding and landslides in Southern California, as they will continue with that. especially around burn scars in coastal mountain ranges. A low pressure system is bringing enhanced snowfall downwind of the lower Great Lakes into the northeast mountain ranges, and above average temperatures will continue to challenge or break daily record high temperatures across the southern plains, and that's for them. And then maybe even some snow possible in the Rockies as well, not just for higher elevations of California. And that is all that I see here in terms of what's going on throughout the entire U.S. I'm going to check out the chat one more time. Mr. Chris says, we still having a stream. I don't know what you mean by that. But, yes, the stream is still up right now. I don't see anything wrong on my end, in case you were talking about that. And the Trail says, congrats, Panthers. Absolutely. I got to go on. I was waiting for somebody to say that. I didn't know if anybody was. I was going to just ignore it. But somebody said it, so let me go and give them a round of applause real quick. Good win today. Got to sweep them. Got to sweep the Falcons for the first time since 2013. Absolutely fantastic. And we're still above 500, so I'm not complaining. Playoff hopes is still alive here. And that's all that I see inside the chat, so I don't see anything else. Top fans for tonight. If I'm not mistaken, I still believe that Mr. Chris was number 1. J-Trance was number 2. And then my Aunt Lula's at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a top fan, you can. You just have to be active. You have to be here early, and you have to be active. Yes, active inside of the chat. So go on and do that if you want to go on and be a part of the top fans consistently, as we usually have consistent members being at the top. We have, a couple of shocks here and there with some people who usually aren't too much on the top sometimes. So it's definitely possible. Definitely is possible. And that's all that I have really to say for tonight. I don't see anything else that's me really worth mentioning. And so I will be back tomorrow morning, Monday morning forecast update. We're going to start off this week strong, hopefully. And then as we get into next week, that is Thanksgiving week. So we'll do the same thing again next week for a Sunday evening forecast update, as we'll talk about the last full week of Thanksgiving. The Q&A video as well, that will be coming up in a couple of days. So make sure that you're paying attention for that. That will not be on a stream. That will be uploading like the afternoon, or I don't know, sometime around there, maybe like 4 or 5 o'clock-ish or something like that. It might get uploaded. So make sure that you're watching for that, as that will be its own individual video. Nothing really that I'm going to really talk about. And that's it. So everyone have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and I will be back tomorrow morning with your Monday morning forecast update. Make sure to go and hit the subscribe button if you're new, and the like button.